fucking. I want to change her voice. I want an Australian voice. Did you hear her? The recording?
I did.
Yeah. I wish you could
I know.
change that.
Well, I know. Like Alexa, I have Alexa, and I can change her voice.
Yeah. I'm glad I had the
So,
headphones
like, instead
plugged
of
in.
saying,
Otherwise, you'd be
so instead of saying,
activating.
what's that?
I said I'm glad I have the headphones plugged in. Otherwise, you'd be activating mine right now. Stacy's out there, dude. Okay, first and foremost, you're out in LA. Everyone's fine. Family's cool. Extended family.
Yeah, we're good. We're good, man. I appreciate it.
Good.
Appreciate you
Yeah.
checking on me too. So
Yeah.
none of the stuff has hit us directly. It's all kind of north of us, north of LA. But
Oh my God. Well, you're in the bad spot then because now it's gonna rain and
it's
then
all coming
what?
down.
Yeah, mudslides happen and they go south.
Yeah,
They go down. That's the
yeah.
same thing, right? That's how it works. North to
Typically,
south.
yeah, yeah. But we're. I mean, I'm pretty close to the coast, so it's. I mean, even the mudslides won't really affect us. But I mean, it's still going to impact the area. As
Yeah,
far as
it always
people,
does.
traffic, and stuff like that. So.
I was listening to other podcasts. Like I listened to Tim Dillon, who's fucking hilarious.
Uh,
He's out of LA. He's a comedian. I saw him in Charleston with fucking Shane Gillis and Big J Okerson a couple years back. Anyway, um, yeah, and he was just, kind of making not light of, but I fucking forgot what the fuck I was gonna say because your hair there is distracting me, but I notice
you want me to take it off?
they are. No, 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 no. I want you to keep it
Okay.
on because that's at first I was like, "Is that Steelers?" And I was like, "No way, dude.
No,
That's
no, 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 no,
that's
no.
that's Long Beach.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
Long
yeah,
Beach, baby."
yeah.
What are we rooting for tonight?
Well, no, well, we the men's volleyball team are ranked number one, and we just beat UCLA last night. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
It
So
they LBC has their baseball team has the coolest fucking mascot name. When you
I
said
know the
that
dirtbags.
that oh shit. I was like, "Hell yeah, dude. That
Yeah,
fucking shit rules." So
yeah.
Long Beach, man. That's like who's the most famous person you've ever seen?
Um, I don't know. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not like there are a lot of famous people.
What
I
about
mean, there are
athletes?
a lot of people would know who they are just in the area, but I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I know you didn't follow college basketball, but Jerry Tarkanian, he used to coach the Running Rebels, with Larry Johnson and all them guys in the '90s. He coached here, so he's a big name. And then
Larry Johnson out of Penn State?
no, 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 not the
No.
football
Okay.
player, not the football.
Oh, okay,
He's a basketball
okay.
player.
Oh,
Yeah,
a lot of
this is
Larry
this is
Johnsons in,
yeah, yeah.
action sports.
Then if you watch ESPN, Seth Greenberg, he's a analyst on ESPN during like halftime between games, and he used to coach. He coached here for like a couple years, but we're not
Dude, that's
mainly known for. I mean, we got a lot of baseball players coming out here. Giambi, Giambi. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the
He came.
troublemakers.
He was a dirtbag.
Which one? The Jason or Justin? Oh,
Jason.
the good one, the one that was
Yeah,
actually good and
yeah,
shit.
Jason Giambi. They've had a bunch of players drafted in the MLB that are good. I just can't think of them right now because I haven't followed their baseball team as much, but I know they always talk about them. So
Are they do they have a, like, football program? I'm sorry, I'm like, I would
oh
assume.
man, you're funny. You're good, you're good. Well, they had a football program up until like 1990, and then they stopped it just because it wasn't. logistically it's hard because the way the college is situated, there's just no way to get parking. So the football stadium would be like off campus. So I mean, it didn't really make a lot of sense. And our campus is not really like a campus where like all the kids are on there. It's a commuter. They call it a commuter campus. So most of the kids that go to school, come here in the morning and then they drive after their classes. So there's
Yeah.
like no kids on campus after 5. So
Yeah, I've watched those
um,
Netflix shows, those was it what is that? I forget the football shows. The
yeah, I know. Like
yeah,
I forget
they
the name of it, but I know what you're talking
JUCO,
about.
JUCO.
Yeah.
It's kinda like that, but I mean, you guys aren't JUCO.
No, we're more of
You're
like a
Division 1 in baseball, right?
yeah, we're Division 1 in all sports. It's just we're mid major. So it's I mean
Okay.
if you just think of a lower level school, um
Like the
yeah,
difference between AAA and AA kinda thing?
kinda. It's just that
I don't know how it
like
works. It's
like
money,
like for
Rob.
instance the ACC or Big Ten, all those are Power Fives, right? And then you got the mid majors, which are like
Sun Belt.
Mountain West. You know what I mean? Those lower level schools that
Yep.
you don't see them in the tournaments, the postseason tournaments as much because they don't get a lot of teams in.
Yeah. And I mean the nil and fucking transfer portal is going to change all that shit. It's going to make teams because I what I find hard to understand is like how I mean you just said it, but other than the fact that logistically you can't support, building a stadium, how any
Mm.
school in California wouldn't be able to have a football program or just be good at recruiting because, dude, it's fucking California. Like, who?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, we're not like I said.
It's beautiful.
Our basis is volleyball. So like our volleyball team has won like I don't know maybe 5 or 6 championships. The men's and the women have won 5. So we're a volleyball school.
Yeah,
That's our draw. So if you want to come to Long Beach, you know,
yeah. I'm pretty
yeah,
good at volleyball. I'm
yeah,
pretty
I
good.
bet you are.
I'm pretty good. I'll come play. I'll bet. Yeah. I want to play on the women's team though.
That's right. You still got some years of
Yeah.
eligibility left.
I'm
I
pretty
got
sure I
you.
do. Dude, I got a GI Bill still waiting. I can use
Hey,
it.
I got you. I got you. I work in financial aid. I'll hook you up.
Dude, can you get me travel? Like, I can still live here in this
Stipends and everything, man.
Yeah. Who get like the what they remember that bullshit they gave us, when people don't know because if they didn't listen to our previous podcast,
Yeah,
you this is the second time you've been on, but the first time it was just audio only, and it was Day Drinking with Johnny was the name, but, we served
remember
together
those?
in the Army, and, we went to Egypt. We were actually preparing to go to Egypt, but, right as September 11th happened, and then
Yeah.
we ended up, still going to Egypt, and we had these government fucking credit cards, and you had a vehicle, and where we were stationed at Eustis, and we were going to Fort Story, and we argued because they were saying it was just under 50 miles, so they wouldn't pay for our gas, and
Right. That's crazy, man.
yeah, dude, and like well, I remember that being an argument, like, "Why the fuck are they being so stingy?" And then, yeah, we ended up going to fucking Egypt and, well, in the meantime, September 11th happens, and then we're like, "Are we still going to Egypt?" And then
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
fucking week
What's really
later,
going on?
they're like, "Yeah, you're
Let us know
going."
what's going on.
Yeah, and we got there, and they started giving us those fucking briefings and shit, and, uh, who was it? The civilian dudes,
Yeah.
gave us that briefing, and then they showed us, like, the footage of the fucking Taliban or whoever they were named at the time, jumping out of the, back of the parade, during the Egyptian was the Egyptian president that got assassinated. They jumped out of the back of the fucking truck during a parade and they just lit up the whole. And they're like, so these guys here, you can't be trusted. And we're like, wait a second. They're the only guys with the bullets. Like we got there before our force protection because we were the
Yeah,
logistical guys. We brought
yeah,
them
yeah.
in.
We were the advanced party, so
Yeah.
we didn't have
They're like,
anything
yeah,
except tents, tents,
and a
tents, and
fucking
porta potties.
and a fucking mask that we had to carry for some god fucking reason.
Oh, jeez.
That gas mask. But yeah, dude, that was a crazy time. What was your most memorable moment of that? Because I mean,
But
we only did like what 90 days, I
you
think.
know mine. You know
What?
mine.
I want to hear it.
Mine was well. First of all, every day we had open orders. If no one knows what that means, it's basically you're getting deployed, but we don't know when you're coming back. So every day we'd be asking our leadership, hey, you know, when are we going? When are we going back? And then towards the end,
Mike,
I think I
hold on,
was that.
hold on. I wanna chime in before you get any further,
Go
but
ahead.
mind you, during this time, we start attacking Afghanistan,
Uh,
and we're watching it on Al Jazeera TV in Egypt, so, just to keep that in mind while these open orders, so we're all like, "Where the fuck are we
yeah, that that
going?"
that didn't help the anxiety at all,
No.
And then, oh, jeez, I just remember that there was that dining hall that we would go into, or it was like outside or whatever, but there was like a house or like a building, further away, but it's still on the location that we were, and they'd have like the lights turned on. Sometimes they would turn them off, sometimes they would turn them on, and it was like they told us not to trust anybody that was in that house, and that was like on our location. I was like, what the heck?
We can
So we
knock
got
on their
enemy.
fucking door.
Yeah, we got enemy right here.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good to know.
they're fucking
Um,
signaling shit. No, we don't know.
yeah, what the hell, man? But yeah,
So
I would have to say my most memorable moment was like towards the last days when we finally knew when we were actually leaving and getting ready to leave, and we were always playing spades and dominoes and stuff like that. And you and I were partners, and man, we were just, I mean, I don't know
locked
if we
in.
were winning the whole time or what, but this was one of the last hands we were playing. We're like this is it, After this, we can get packed and get ready to leave. And I just happened to throw out a card, spade, and the person to my left threw out like a red card, so I knew he was out. And I think you threw either a club or you had a spade too. And then the guy to my right, his other partner threw out another red card. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. And I had like four spades left. I
Yeah.
was like, man. And
And
that
we
was
played
we
no table talk. We played no table
right.
talk, mind you.
No,
We
no,
play
no.
we play fucking right, dude.
We laid
Yeah,
down the rules before we
yeah,
played because there's a dozen ways to play, but we wanted to play fair.
yeah.
Um,
Table
and
talk's
then
bullshit. If you play table talk spades, you are a fucking loser. That's like playing rookie on any fucking video game or whatever.
well, it just means you don't know your partner, you know.
Yeah, but you figure them out. That's why you play multiple rounds. You figure 'em
Yeah,
you talk after the hands.
yeah,
You figure it's just like poker. You figure them out by the way they play, you know?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody has their own strategy, and if you're
right?
smart enough, you can determine it how they play, whether they're gonna cut or they're gonna throw off.
Yeah.
And then likewise, your partner should know you as well, how you're going to place, and that's how it works. But I think we had 9 books at the time, and I had
Oh,
4 cards left, and they were all spades, and both of those guys were out of spades. So I was like, oh shit.
I
Oh
think you started
shit.
laughing. I think you were
Oh
getting giggly.
shit. So I was like, Beantown, baby, Beantown. So we
You
pulled
know
that
what?
Boston. We pulled that Boston on their ass, man. I was like,
Oh, it's
man, that's.
beautiful.
I was like, even if you guys want to play again, we can't. I
Yeah.
can't. You can't leave on a better note than that. So,
Yeah. Uh, your phone's slowing down. I think it's because you're moving around. Are you
are you
taking a
there?
there you are.
Oh,
Yeah, while you were moving, your phone, like, slowed down.
all right.
Beats.
Then I just won't move anymore.
Okay. As you start moving. Yeah, you gotta go back and get your beer, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew I
Can't
forgot
ju
something.
right? Wait, what was in my other hand? Oh, my dick. That's right. I need my beer.
Yeah,
Fucking
but
A, dude.
that was probably one of my best deployments in all of the military. Just
Dude,
um,
that was the best deployment I ever had because I think it was the only one I didn't get shot at during.
mm,
Wait, no, I had a Kuwait one. I didn't get, yeah. I see my dog. That's the new one. She's a fucking psycho. Psycho. No, dude, that was a great time, dude. That I mean, for as far as a great time could be during a deployment, I mean, that's where I learned how to play dominoes, and I mean, that's where I got good at spades. I kind of knew how to play spades from all the time we spent in the warehouse before going down
yeah,
range. You guys kind of taught
yeah.
me, but it's definitely a good skill to have. I'm not sure nowadays. I'm pretty sure anyone nowadays going down range, they kind of keep to themselves. But back in the day, dude, it was all we had was each other. So if you
Well,
weren't
yeah,
reading,
we didn't have cell phones where
right,
we could do all the stuff on our own. So
you could
we
just
had to
go
kind
off
of, yeah, we had to make do with what we had,
each other.
at the time.
Yeah, and so like we would play fucking games, dude. And I think I wonder if that's hurting today's army, like because they have like unit cohesion was always a big thing. Maybe I know because I know like near the end of my career, which ended in 2020, those last couple deployments that were to Qatar,
Yeah,
I had internet access. I didn't want to spend time with anyone else. Like I did my job,
yeah.
I went back to my room, I fucking turned on it was cool. The base had this like computer with like all the movies you could ever think of uploaded to
Wow.
include like these movies in different languages. There were a couple times I remember one time I woke up to Total Recall, the remake, in Russian, dude. Seriously, I thought we had lost a war or something. I thought I was dreaming. I was like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" Because I knew I was deployed. And I'm like, Colin Farrell speaking Russian. I'm like, the Russian should not be coming out of this television.
Get your Astomos. Get your Astomos.
Yeah, they didn't need to dub. And they played the original. They wouldn't have had to dub it out. They just would have left Arnold with all his original lines. But yeah, dude, it like so those last couple deployments. I mean, I did play some card games with some guys, like some older like NCOs. I
Yeah,
was yeah with that whole situation with me, but because of we had deployed originally, without all the amenities, and so we would get together like once a week and go watch football and play cards and so that was pretty cool. But yeah, nowadays, dude, I think that might be hurting the army and its soldiers.
I think so because I mean that's one of the parts of the army that builds cohesion. It's not just like doing deployments together. It's what you
Feel
do when you're off. You know
the
what I mean?
feel, yeah,
You know what I mean? Hanging with the guy to your left and to your right, or the girl to your left and right, and um, getting to know them because You know, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would agree. I would agree with you on that one. It probably has put a damper on it as far as the
just
team
people
itself
getting
because
caught.
everyone just kind of goes by themselves.
Yeah.
So
Damn, dude. Crazy. Oh, hey, did I want to bring this up before I bring up some topics, but shit. Okay, I was just scrolling through Twitter or X, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. I'm having a great time on this website, bro. Um like I wouldn't get it for years when it was Twitter or whatever, but
yeah,
when Facebook kept on kicking me off, I was like, I need to go somewhere else. And I've been having way more fun here. Even though people think it's like the depths of hell. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could just, just dip your toe into hell for a couple like Constantine, like go there and then be able to come back out?
just get a little sample. Just get a
Yeah,
little sample.
I mean, if you think that's what Twitter is, then get on there and go get on there and go and
I
take
like
advantage.
Twitter myself. I like it. I like
It's
it because I follow some athletes and you can like send a direct message to them
mhm.
so they know that you're talking to them. And then, sometimes they like your post or well, of course,
Twitter.
in your case, they probably respond vehemently about how they don't like your
I've definitely
but
tried to poke a couple fucking
but
yeah, I use poke.
that's the thing I
Go
like
at.
that is that's I think is better with Twitter than it is like Facebook because Facebook, it just to me it seems like you could have a fan page, but are they really monitoring it or is it somebody else? I mean, Twitter could be
Yeah,
the same thing, but it just seems like athletes and famous people are really actually monitoring their own account. You know what I mean,
right.
as opposed to somebody else.
I think you've been on social media for longer than a year. You can pretty much tell the difference between, an account that's being run by somebody else and not that famous person and whether
Right.
that person is really actually doing it, especially if you're a fan. And
Yeah.
um I think as far as Twitter goes, it is what you make it, to tell you the truth. I mean, with the algorithms, the way they work, if you're constantly looking up, bullshit, you you're gonna get the opposite side of that bullshit because that's the way it's set up. It's looking for a reason to get you riled up, to make you comment, to make you, share
Mm,
or whatever the fuck, that's the way I see it, and I don't know,
mm.
it's kind of a conspiracy theorist, kind of. You like that segue? You like that
I do
segue?
like that.
Told you about
Very slick.
it.
Very
Uh,
slick.
algorithms are very tricky, but I think, it algorithms are very, what's the phrase I'm looking for? No such thing as bad publicity. I think that's how algorithms work.
Well,
The more
I think.
outrage. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, no. I was just going to say. I think like that the way the algorithm is set up is it can be either you know whatever you like or comment on, it's going to produce more of that, or it's going to just like you said, do the opposite. It's going to whatever you like or comment on, it's going to generate more, feed of the opposite stuff to see what your reaction is to it. So yeah, it's the algorithm is that's the framework of it.
Yeah, and it's just I think Twitter is really what you make of it. What you're looking up, like, uh, be aware, be self-aware when you're online, dude. I'm loving that 40. Is that a Miller High Life? Is that the
It is.
champagne, the beers?
It's the champagne, champagne.
Yeah, that's my motherfucker.
Uh, So yeah, I believe
Fucking algorithm.
I believe in Doge, efficiency, so instead of buying 3 beers and going back to the refrigerator and coming back, going back, just take a 32, 40.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I've been watching my calories. That's why I'm drinking the bullshit
yeah,
because dude, the way I feel about it, the way I feel about alcohol, it's about the destination, not about the journey. Okay? We're all trying to get to the same fucking place. right? It doesn't matter how we fucking get there. You may ride
I
a
agree.
motorcycle, I may drive a Jeep. You may drive a fucking Ferrari or, it doesn't matter how we get, we're all going to the same fucking party, right? So
Right.
why the fuck are we gonna shit on each other for it? How we get there, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I was trying to segue into conspiracy theorists, and I felt like I had to
Sorry.
defend myself for drinking White Claws, but I'm trying to
Oh
watch my
no.
figure. um, dude, have you heard any cool conspiracy theories or like ones that they I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy, but I find some of them interesting. I
Yeah.
find, it's like reading a good book, a good fiction book. That's how I find. But some of them
Yeah.
kind of, you're like, it could be kind of true. So, did you have any conspiracy theories that you thought were
I
interesting?
mean, I haven't heard of anything lately. I mean, the last one I've heard, and it's been ongoing, is that flat Earth. But I haven't heard anything else as far as conspiracy. Nothing relevant or that's been in the news lately.
Other other than the fact that they're burning down all your rich people's places so they can build a smart city. But wait, that's not a conspiracy, it's actually happening.
It was a conspiracy before it happened, but now it
Yeah,
happened.
right? No,
But
I had one dude, you heard of those New Jersey drones, right, that were going
yeah,
on?
yeah,
Alright, the coolest one I heard of was that this is, like, it's future us. Not really future, but it was an old elite humans,
uh-huh,
um, much like Bill Gates and Bezos are now, that have these big secret bunkers, right? And this was God knows, like a millennia, however long ago, before our documented history. Because if you look at it, like human, human species, whatever the fuck the word is, actual documented history is less than, I think it's only about 10% of our existence has actually been documented. Something like
mhm,
that.
mhm,
Um, so what it is they're saying that it was an old elite human species that realized that we were going to destroy ourselves and built whatever it deep in the ocean. And now they're coming back up because it's been so long. They're seeing how far we have advanced, and they're flying over, and the whole over nuclear bases thing, and
uh-huh,
they're like just same thing with UFOs. I don't know, it kind of ties in with that. They're
mhm.
trying to tell us that, don't mess with these because this is going to kill your race. This is going to kill your species, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
It
Any
does.
of
I
that?
mean,
It
I mean,
sounds
from a
very science
conspiracy,
fiction.
yeah, but I mean, the crazy thing about conspiracy theories is they sound crazy until they come true. You know what I mean?
All those people for years with Roswell and whatever, dude, the government came out and said they have shit.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. I always question conspiracy theories just because I don't have the evidence or I haven't done the research on my own.
And because you're
But
smart.
it I don't know about or lazy.
Uh,
But
fucking, Einstein had a very messy desk, so
but he you know, I mean, it's just hard because some of them have come true, and so I mean, whenever I hear one, I kind of take it with a grain of salt and then try to try to do my own research if it's something that I'm curious about or whatever. But
okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't dismiss them. I don't automatically dismiss them. Just
Let me throw
because. Go ahead.
another one at you. This one I also found interesting only because I've been in the affected area.
Uh,
It's that the government. is using a fog, like, using the how do they put it? It's not they're not when they're putting stuff in the atmosphere with the airplanes.
Cloud seeding,
Yeah, yeah,
cloud
and
seeding.
stuff. Yeah,
That's been proven though.
yeah, well, yeah, we did it in Vietnam so we could cause rain so that the Viet Cong couldn't work through their regular trails and we could
Yeah,
force them into certain ways and then just bomb the shit out of them. That's been proven.
yeah,
But yeah, they think that the conspiracy theorists think that they're putting like uh now bacteria or some kind of biological weapon but not enough to kill us. It's just
yeah,
to see how to activate it. So
yeah.
they
See,
put it in the air and then they cause the fog so it comes down and it hangs. It's not like rain that goes straight to the ground. Fog
uh-huh.
hangs, so you breathe it in, but it doesn't do anything until the cold spell happens, which is about a
Mm.
week later. And then the cold is something that activates, and then people just start getting the I'm gonna mispronounce it, and my wife's gonna get mad at me. The norovirus, something
Uh-huh.
like that, because it's been a thing
Mm.
lately, especially here on the East Coast where I'm at.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm not gonna say there's not any truth to that. I don't know
Right.
I don't know why
See,
my voice is
see
getting
that
so high,
to
but
me. I mean, the fact that we've already kind of done like a
dude, we've
cloud
had
seeding thing, to me, what you're
dude,
saying is to me sounds plausible. It
we've
sounds
had
plausible.
3 cold spells. Like, we had a rare snowstorm here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, actual snow, dude. People made snowmen in South Carolina on in the I'm not in the beach area. I'm in the
Yeah, you're in the
Midlands. Yeah. So, I'm 100 miles inland and dude, is there's I don't know. I mean, I can't I can't get too far into the weather, the climate change shit. That one doesn't get me because that one is like if you look at the Earth's history that we've been taught long enough, there have been
mm,
ice ages that have occurred without human interaction. It's just something that happens to fucking Earth in space. But this this shit that's happening, the weather and then followed
yeah.
by this, followed by that, kinda just, I've got no time to think about anything else. So I'm retired. So
Well, no, but that's I mean, it's good to be thinking about that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, somebody needs to be aware
somebody's
of
got
it.
to. Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, I think it's plausible. I mean, it's absolutely plausible just because, why not? I mean, we've already proven that the government could do it. So it's not something that's, out of the realm of possibility. It's just, you know,
Are they?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Are they doing it? So,
Damn.
and the problem is, it's hard to find, like like a institute or a body that's non-biased, it that could test it because if you go to a college, they're funded by the government,
And
so
I
they
say
don't want to lose their fund. They don't want to lose their funding, you
everyone's
know.
getting paid by somebody,
Right, right.
and
So
it
it's hard to find an independent body to actually do the
and
testing that would prove yes or no. So,
and
but
even then And even then, that independent body, that money came from somewhere. So it's
yeah,
like a loyalty thing. Like, well, I'm gonna back whatever the fuck,
right, yeah,
however that fucking shit strings out. So,
right.
I mean, yeah, God knows. But the problem is
That's why it seems
humans,
like
and
all studies seem to have some sort of bias, whether it be monetary or just, you know, based on
'Cause
perception or knowledge, you don't
because
know.
somebody's invested in that.
Mhm.
Somebody wants to see a return on that investment, and depending on how sick of a fuck they are, they're willing to, let people die or that'd probably be the worst thing in order to see a return on that thing
Mhm.
because they're not playing the same game that you and I are playing. We're playing survival. You know?
Right.
These
Yeah.
people are playing like, well, we'll just kill 180,000 doesn't fucking matter as long as I make 3.2 trillion back or billion back. It's a whole different fucking level. So, yeah. I mean,
So
so
so let me ask you, what would be the purpose? And I'm guessing I probably know the answer already, but what would be the purposes if they knew that this would cause defects or ailments to that population based on, doing that kind of experiment? What would be, I mean, what would be the next step for them? Is it something they would use during warfare? Is that ultimately it?
I mean,
Even
everything is I think everything that they're doing is, gonna be somehow, weapon based. Like, that arm of it is always gonna be there. How do we turn this into a weapon?
right,
Because the ability to kill is, I mean, that gives you power, and power gives you everything.
right,
Um, so I think that it's more of a control issue. I think, it's I was always told well, I found out later in life, let me retract. I found out later in life, buy real estate because God isn't making any more earth, right? So, what's the best thing to control? Land. If you control land, you control everything. And well,
yeah,
there are people occupying a piece of property or area you want. How do you get them out of there without them knowing you're pushing them out of there? Well,
right,
maybe you get them sick. Maybe you hit them with fucking hurricanes. Maybe you force them out like that. Like some people are like, "Fuck this. I'm done. Like I'm having lung issues." The doctor tells you you need to move to Arizona because it's too humid here in the East Coast. So
mhm,
now all these people start moving, and then you hit them with hurricanes, and then other
yeah,
people get fucking fed up with that because guess what? They cancel the insurance beforehand, and now these people got nothing. They have to fucking move. So
yeah.
maybe it's a fucking land control issue. I don't know. That's kind of off the top of my head. I'm kind of proud of myself on that one,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think, like you said, that they're not making any more land. God's not making any more land. So for the government or some kind of entity to take over land and force people off without it looking, like an illegal eviction, take because if they told you to get off your property, there would be a whole backlash of people and groups. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
this way,
they
this way,
tried that before with
it's a
legislation,
natural,
remember?
it's natural.
Yeah,
So it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's
yeah,
where you live. So move.
right, right? Before nobody trusts the government anymore, so all the legislation shit that they used to use to make people move, they can't do that anymore because we're aware of it. So now they're like, "Well, you just use the fucking weather and fuck you
Yeah.
up." I don't know. Dude, just like the way like, being both a service member, the technology that we know of right now, that we're aware of, that the
Uh-huh.
common citizen or human is aware of, w w we're already 10, 15 years past that, you
Yeah.
know, like, that's how secret it is. They're so far past all of this shit. So, who knows? Maybe we find out what some of this shit is later on. But I gotta tell you a personal experience, and then I'm
Sure.
gonna go pee, and then we can pause. Uh,
Okay.
The other day, dude, okay, this fucking freaked me out, and it freaked out the wife. I just told her this. I was coming I was coming back from Walmart, dude,
Uh-huh.
driving the sick fucking Jeep. Thanks again,
I
Jason.
love it. I love it.
Love that fucking thing. I got so much freedom now. Um, I'm coming down the road. It's a 2-lane road. Because I live out in the sticks, kinda, I guess, if you wanna call it that, in, South Carolina. And I see an animal on the road. I'm always on the lookout for animals in the road where we live. There's always something coming across or on the side of it. So
Right.
you're kinda always on the lookout when you live out in rural areas. Did I say that right?
You did.
So in the middle of this road, I'm coming up 2-lane road again, and it's a fucking pigeon, and pigeons are known to be around here, but it catches my eye. I've been to
Uh-huh.
cities before. It's a single pigeon on its own, which is okay, whatever. Um, right in the middle of the road, and I'm coming up on it, and I'm seeing it, and then I look up and realize there's a car in front of me about 25 yards ahead, and it goes right past this fucking bird. This bird doesn't flinch, just fucking sitting there. So I'm coming up on it, and I've got those big all-terrain fucking wheels on it. I've got noise. I'm The car in
Right.
front of me was like a Ford Focus or some shit. Um, and that's how I know it's a pigeon. I go right by it, dude. And I see it, and it fucking sees me, bro. It's a black fucking pigeon.
Uh-huh.
Right past it. It doesn't fucking move. Still sitting in the side of the road or in the middle of the road. I'm looking in
Uh-huh.
my side mirror. At about that time, I noticed that the pigeon's still in the middle of the road. I look up. There's a dually truck. I think it's dark in color.
Uh-huh.
Coming up, still too far away to see this bird in the middle of the road. Turns on his hazards. I immediately assume he's flashing his lights to tell me there's a cop ahead because they sometimes sit up ahead. Because
Yeah.
the temperature, or not the temperature, the speed limit drops 10 miles per hour on this road, in like that. So I immediately clock it as he's trying to tell me there's a cop, but then I realize, oh, it's his hazards. I'm like, well, he doesn't look like he's in trouble. It's a fucking well built truck. He's going just fine. So we pass each other, and then he starts getting closer to where that bird is, and I can still see that fucking bird is in the middle of the road. What does he do? He pulls up right up beside it on the side of the fucking road. I'm seeing this all through my side mirror. Gets out of the fucking truck, walks up to it, picks it up, turns around, gets in his truck, and that's when I went out of sight.
Uh-huh.
Dude, what the fuck was that? That's my mind immediately went to, remember the story about Chinese having birds as, drones that look exactly like our fucking, like, just look and fly like, birds? I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit." Because how the hell did he know to put his hazards on? He was too far away to see the bird in the middle of the
Right.
road. He knew where it was. He was tracking this shit, right? Like, I don't know, dude. It kinda freaked me out. I'm in the
No,
stick,
that is kind of
and
yeah,
dude,
that is kind of freaky.
they don't clap pigeons here like they do in the city, like in Training Day.
Yeah.
They don't do that shit. But also, he's too far away. Even if he's a trained pigeon, he's too far away to see it. And how is this thing sitting in the middle of the road with 2 cars zooming by it? And it
Mhm.
just doesn't. Most birds fly away. You're freaked out. You
Well, too, if he turned on the headline or the if he turned on his hazards ahead of time, it seems like he was tracking the bird, which means somehow he was,
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a chip or what, but it seems like, based on what you're telling me is, somehow he was following that bird to see where it was going. So
right.
that's I don't know, man. That is
Who
kind of
chips a
crazy.
pigeon? Pigeons are a dime a dozen. They're sky rats. That's what we used to call them in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like they're not expensive fucking animals. Like if you clap pigeons or you train pigeons, one gets away. Is it really that big of a fucking deal? Like I don't. You're not gonna chase it down in your dually truck in the middle of a fucking rainstorm. It was raining, by the way. Yeah.
Damn.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
That's Stranger Things.
Yeah. Stranger Things. Season 5 coming out. Check it out on Netflix. Nobody cares anymore. And we're back. Hey, dude, have you noticed our little buddy? Wait, it's mirrored. Here we go. He's right over here. Right there.
What is it?
That's
Is
Snoop
it
Dogg.
Snoop?
That's
Snoopy?
Snoop. Snoop and
Yeah.
Loop.
And I love that shirt, brother.
His green hat. Yeah. That's why I'm wearing the hat backwards because it's like when
It's like a
they,
switch.
they turn into like a truck, like a machine, like a truck.
I'm gonna put you in a world of hurt, little man.
This dude has a fucking jack off machine in the cab of his truck. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the greatest Sylvester Stallone movie ever, Over the Top. KJ loves to send me fucking awesome shirts from movies. And dude, because we share a love of great cinema together.
Absolutely.
And dude, I wish I could do a movie podcast because of my love for movies, but there are so many out there that are so much better that have been doing it for so long, but I just listen to them. So but yeah, dude, I almost wore the Jaws one, but it's green. So it's like a somebody could
Yeah,
green
yeah,
screen me and make it yeah, which is a great shirt. It's a fucking green shirt and it's got fucking Roy Scheider. It's a
yeah.
Scheider, not Schneider. During the scene of Jaws, saying "Smile, you
Well, I
son of
got
a
I got
bitch."
it green because Irish.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, dude.
so you know the deal.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I love the shirt. I just couldn't wear it tonight. So I
I
was like,
know.
I was going through my closet. I was like, all right, which one am I gonna go with? And I was like, oh, if I go with this one, I can wear the hat backwards and go do my Sylvester Stallone fucking impression. That sucks, by the way. Also, I've been having
Oh
this
man.
motherfucker's this is beautiful.
Oh man.
Do you know what
That's
this thing
I do know that thing.
you know what it holds?
What is it
It
holding?
holds a treasure, much like the Ark of the Covenant. Hold on. I'm gonna put down the
Well,
microphone.
don't open it. Shit.
No, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. It'll be okay. It only
You
kills
saw what
Nazis.
happened in Raiders of the Ark.
Yeah, just close my eyes, dude. Close your eyes. You're good. You'll be fine. It only kills not
Miriam.
it only kills Nazis. Did you hear the conspiracy theory about that movie about Raiders? That
No,
had he just not gotten involved at all, and then if the Nazis found it, they would have opened it and killed all themselves anyway. So why the fuck did
really?
he go? Yeah, I mean, think about it. They planned on opening it anyway, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
what all that shit that he went through just yeah. He actually helped him find it faster. You know?
I guess that's the moral of the story.
Right? Yeah.
Help them find it faster.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's how he's like, "I'll just kill the Nazis faster by helping them find in the Ark faster." But I mean, literally, if you look at the movie that way, that's what happened.
Yeah.
No, dude, what I have in here? Oh, I took them out. Shit, I went through all that for nothing. It was just sand. No, I had VHS tapes when I went back home with my family,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and they were things that I had created when I was a child. When you found your parents' old fucking handheld, shoulder operated camcorder,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I made skits and stuff, and I have 2 tapes full of God knows what, and I can't play them. A friend, brought us a VHS tape player, but I plugged it in, it doesn't work. The tape actually got stuck. I had to dismantle the fucking thing. And so I'm gonna buy a converter online that goes on VHS to, like, digital
Uh-huh.
and, like, post this shit. Like, I almost wanna
That'd be a
post
good
it.
idea.
I almost wanna post a video of me, like, viewing it for the first time since, shit, I'm 44 years old. This is shit I made when I was 9, 10, maybe?
Well, too, I mean, I think it's something, maybe I'm not sure, but you know, that Aiden could look at too and see like, oh, that's my dad.
Right? I
Well,
hope it's
my
not me,
dad was a
like,
crazy
filming,
guy.
like, sexy stuff on the fucking TV so I can jack off to it later or something. Just that's a sexy commercial, me filming it on a camcorder. Why is Johnny filming a fucking Sears catalog commercial? It's bra commercial or some shit.
We used to get the Sears catalog, man.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
dude.
right. Oh man, I'd go straight to the lingerie section. I was like, man, woo!
Okay, number 2, also, well, yeah, National Geographic, won't lie,
Uh,
done it, done it,
yeah, that's
and
pretty guaranteed.
when I found the stash of vinyls, from all my brothers and sisters and parents,
Uh-huh.
when, when cassette came around, they just put them in a box, and I found them. My dad bought me a fucking stereo that had a record player for $5 at a garage sale. Anyway, um in that set of vinyls was Pink Floyd's "A Nice Pair," which is like a compilation album, kind of when
Yeah,
what was happening,
yeah.
the greatest hits, as they used to call it, and it had a fucking beautiful set of tits.
Oh
Just
man.
a little square. It was just like a whole bunch of little squares of, like, pairs of things that were pairs, and it
Yeah.
was, like, just the chest. It was, like, from the neck to here and just of a chick, and I was like, "Yeah,
Nice.
I use that."
Nice.
So, yeah. Damn, dude, we're getting I got way off topic. I was supposed to tell you about the breaking news that happened I saw on Twitter X, and I'm gonna get
Okay.
to it right now.
Okay.
Jack the Ripper has been identified through a 100% DNA match.
Oh man.
Jack the Ripper, they got him. They're gonna
See,
throw the book,
that's one of my favorites serial
right?
killers of all time.
Yeah, dude, there's a comedian who does a bit. It's kind of funny because I forget who it is, but he talks about, like, he went to the UK and went on a Jack the Ripper tour,
Yeah.
and when they're like, he killed 5 people over 2 months, this guy's like, I'm from fucking New York. That just happened in the past 30 minutes in the subway. Like, why the fuck am I impressed about this?
Mhm.
Well, but, no, apparently, a breakthrough in forensic history, historian Russell Edwards claims Jack the Ripper has been identified as Aaron Kominski.
It's the Polish guy from America, right?
Yeah! Yep, a Polish barber and longtime suspect, and 100% DNA match. It was the
Mhm.
Polak. Oh, I bet he made good pierogies. Um,
Yeah, there was I watched several documentaries on that, and that was one of the guys that because from their records that they were showing was that he was in America, but at the time of the murders, he had gone back to England for some reason. They don't know why. Probably, maybe to get a job, see
to
family
kill
or
some
whatever.
bitches. To kill some
Yeah.
bitches.
But yeah, I do remember him specifically as one of the players,
Yeah.
or at least the people that were talking as far as doing it. That's
Kam
wild.
Kaminsky's is that close to White Sox? Kaminsky? That's close. It's
Oh
spelled
man.
differently. It's close. You know how like in Ellis Island
What
they
you
change
mean
a
like
vowel or
Deneen and
two?
Deneen?
Yeah, yeah. It's been known to happen. I mean, I'm just saying, conspiracy theorist. Uh, his great great grandniece provided the DNA sample confirming the link. Legal terms are now posting for a formal inquest to name him the killer in court. A mystery that baffled experts for 136 years may have finally been solved. So I guess they're gonna wait until it's confirmed in court
Yeah.
to call it, even though it's 100% DNA match. So, dude, these 23andMe things are fucking like
Yeah,
solving
they're changing
all
the
these
game.
crimes.
Changing the game totally because killers that did stuff back in the 70s and 80s, they're able to find their lineage through their, children, grandchildren, great grandchildren because they're doing 23andMe and it's a genetic link.
Yeah,
So,
that's fucked up,
kind of
bro.
crazy.
If you're gonna do some nasty shit, don't be a pull outer. Don't be creating more.
That's right.
Just kill. Don't create. What the fuck,
That's right.
man? If you're a goddamn, child of Satan the way you think you are, fuck, you don't create. God creates.
Well, but the thing is, they if they have siblings, they would
Ah,
still be
true.
screwed. You know what I mean? So
Oh, kill
either
them.
way,
Kill them.
just kill them all
Kill
first.
them. Be the
Kill your
only
parents
child.
and
Yeah,
siblings first, and then
yeah.
go after other
And
people.
then go on a killing spree. But you
Then
gotta
you're
kill your
good.
yeah, you gotta
They'll
kill your
never catch
family
it.
first, and then nobody will find you. Great, we figured it out, bro. Son of a bitch. Because that's how they got the what was that dude out there in California? The what they call him?
Who's like the sleepy time killer or something like that?
He was the one who used to make the husband. He would put plates on their back and then go rape their wife and kill him or something like that. The California, he was the most notorious one. Not the Zodiac. Son of a bitch. But yeah, yeah. Damn it, I could probably look it up. Yeah, and I just remember him being in the courtroom just in a wheelchair because he was so damn old. But
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So he was, yeah, yeah. He was crazy, and
yeah,
they did the same thing with him. Somehow they found, genetic DNA, or traced it back to him, and I don't even think they found all the people that he killed.
no,
I think he claimed more than they actually were able to identify. So, but they weren't able to find those other people.
that
Either
guy,
bodies.
he evolved fast. As far as a serial killer goes, he evolved fast, and he was really good because of how long he got away with it. And I will still argue to the death that you know the greatest serial killers have never been found because they're smart about it. They kill hookers,
Yeah.
people that won't go away. They do it.
Well, that's who he was preying on initially, but I mean, some of his victims were not all
Dude,
that, and I think that's part of his how he got caught too. Is some of the people that he killed were like
bro,
just regular
bro,
people.
what I don't get was they were doing like public hearings saying, "Hey, be careful, females, blah blah blah, lock your doors," kind of thing. And some dude stood up and said something. It's like, well, if he comes, I don't understand how all these other males are letting this shit happen to their wives. If he comes to my house, I'll kill him. And within like a couple weeks, I think that dude's wife got sexually, he was in that dude's house, meaning he was at that fucking, that forum, that town meeting. How do you
Uh-huh.
not like ask everyone there? Like, I don't know, like, how did you not know he was there after that? Like, I don't get it, but yeah. So that dude he was crazy, and he was really good at what he did for so long, and then his family fucked him up. They should have just offed them all. Damn it. So yeah, there's Jack the Ripper, and Dude, I'm so happy and want to thank you again for being able to do this. I appreciate it taking your time out there
It's a pleasure, man. I
on
love
the
hanging with you, man.
on the West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast. And what why don't we have we used to have good beef, and I hate to sound like the old man, like back in my day, the music was this and that, but there was East Coast, West Coast beef, and it was fucking good. It was fun. It was dangerous, but
Yeah.
it's not what it is today.
No.
What I mean, what do we
No,
got
I mean
today?
I
We
mean,
got
I think the biggest beef in our times was the Pac and Biggie. You know what I mean? That was New York, California, you know what I mean? And
But
that
we
was
also but we also had, Suge, I don't know, what's his name, holding Vanilla Ice, over a balcony. We had, there was always
yeah,
some gangster ass shit going on
yeah,
with these guys. And now it's like we got I think the biggest beef is a pedo with a big dick who's Canadian and Kendrick Lamar, who,
yeah.
dude, for the life of me, I had no idea what Kendrick Lamar looked like until the Super Bowl halftime show. All right, and I'm not saying that to be a piece of shit or whatever, but I really had no. I knew the name. I knew the
Yeah.
music kinda, here and there, but when I hear Kendrick Lamar, when I heard that, I think Boston Celtics, so I'm thinking this big fucking, I'm thinking basketball. I think Kendrick, it's the name's
Yeah,
not the same, but
yeah,
that's immediately what my brain went to. So Super
yeah,
Bowl halftime show comes up, and I'm like, "Wait, that's him?" I
yeah.
was
I think he's like 5'9", man. So he's like short, real short. I mean, even I didn't watch the Super Bowl just because it
oh,
wasn't, Carolina Panthers weren't in it. So,
dude. Oh, yeah, dude.
but
You got a good thing going now. I don't know. They're turning things around.
well, we'll see.
Bryce Young started
We'll
looking
see.
good.
Yeah, he did pretty well at the end of the season. So,
Yep.
and
After they sat his ass and they gave him a lesson.
yeah,
You
yeah, I
get
think he learned. I
better.
think he
Yeah.
learned that lesson.
Yeah.
So, so,
But
but yeah,
back to the
I
beef.
even Serena Williams is like taller than him. She's like 6'2", and she towered over him. I saw like a photo or a meme where she was hugging him, and I was like, "What?"
Do, do you remember the movie? Do you remember the movie Pixels? Where, Peter Dinklage wants to, like, for him to help out, like, beat the aliens in the video game thing, he
uh,
wants to have a
uh,
threesome with Martha Stewart and Serena Williams,
yeah,
and he gets it. It's just
yeah,
so fucking can you imagine that? He'd have to climb up her like a
yeah,
koala.
yeah.
I would so watch that.
It'll pop up on your Twitter or
Yeah,
X. I
yeah,
mean,
I've got the phone right here, dude. AI is gonna start doing that. It's gonna, like, hear the random shit that you put together and be like, "Were you talking about this?" "Actually, I was."
speaking of Peter,
Yeah. Speaking of dinklaging my Peter. Oh, man, fuck. Alright,
yeah,
I
but
wanna
the as far as rap is concerned, the East Coast, West Coast, that drama kind of think it kind of sizzled in
it's
maybe
calm.
about 10 years ago. But I mean,
Yeah,
there's beef now, but I mean, it's
these guys
I don't
aren't
know.
they're not tough dudes. I mean,
No,
they're not
they're studio guys that try to be gangsters, and it's like you know, it's a different era. We
it's
understand
more
that.
of
You don't have to prove yourself in the street because you're not from the street.
it's more of the act of pulling out the gun than it is of actually shooting it, you know? It
Yeah,
yeah, it's theater. It's theater and it's yeah. I don't know,
yeah,
man. Yeah, I don't know. I think everything's cyclic, and so eventually I think we're gonna get a badass. Like, I mean, I guess 50 Cent was probably the last real motherfucker, and he's still kind of in the game, but he's gone, movie Hollywood kind of too.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but that's what happens when you get old, and that's what should happen. Because if the streets don't kill you, dude, you gotta fizzle out and get the fuck away
yeah.
from it.
Well,
You can't
too. I
do the
mean,
whole "they pull me back in" kind of thing, right?
yeah. I mean, I think entertainers, it's they have to, like you said, evolve. They have to kind of rebrand themselves, especially when they, are trying to get to reach a new generation too.
Stay
So
relevant.
if you don't do that, you're going to be left behind. So
Yeah.
and be out of work.
Look at the way, like, some bands musically, like, have to, unless they just, are just putting out bangers within, a couple years the way they used to. Like, rock bands used to be on, they would get it used to be if you got a record contract, you were fucking business, but you had to put out 3, 4 albums within so many years. And so, you would get, like that's where the sophomore slump came from. They put
Yeah,
out a hot album because that's what got them signed. But then they didn't have anything left than to shoot, but they were under
yeah,
contract and only had 12 months to come up with 8 more songs, that kind of thing. So they just,
yeah.
it's forced music, it's forced talent, and it's never any good. But nowadays you know, you don't have that. I don't know what.
Well, I think music in general has kind of gone downhill. I mean, it's definitely not what you and I grew up with. I mean, not just rap, but I mean rock. You
It's
know, even
it's
even country. And
it's
I'm
the
not a big country
access.
fan, but
Yeah,
huh?
it's the access, because it used to be we used to get filtered the good stuff. But now, everyone, just like podcasting, just like us, there's so many of them. There's people on TikTok, there's people on YouTube putting out their own stuff. So it's like this huge just flood of whatever, entertainment
Yeah,
coming at you. So it's hard to it's hard for the entertainment executives to tell you this is what's good and this is
yeah.
what you should listen to. Now it's hopefully you catch, everyone listens to it, and then you get signed kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, too, I think a lot of artists in our days used to have to work for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they they had to put their feet to the street, to get to the studio, write their stuff. And sometimes they didn't write their stuff; they had somebody else write them for them. But at least they were singing the music, putting in the work. And now it's like, I mean, Justin Bieber, he got signed by singing on YouTube. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? So
it,
I don't know, man. It's just a different world.
it's
So
really like it's not like the AC/DC song. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Because now it's like we could this episode between you and I right here could skyrocket my podcast to God knows whatever, just because it catches the right person's fucking ear,
yeah,
and so we don't know what's gonna catch, what isn't gonna catch. We can go back and talk about the algorithm. I just enjoy talking to my friend wearing crazy Long Beach fucking state goddamn hair, dude. It's fantastic. Love it. So
yeah.
I think we should get into our first topic right when I start slurring my speech. Yeah, now let's get
Let's
serious,
do it.
right? Yeah, okay.
That sounds like a Aussie.
It is. Oh, you
Where
wanna
you?
do that one? You wanna do that
Oh
one
no,
first?
I'm just saying. It sounded like you were speaking Aussie for a second. That's why. Segue, segue.
Aussie or awesome? Okay.
Well, both.
Thank you very much. Australian academic has claimed that the Australian accent is slurred because forefathers regularly got drunk together and through their frequent interactions unknowingly added an alcoholic slur to their national speech pattern. Um, so I didn't think the Irish had, I knew the Aussies were drinkers, but
Yeah.
the Irish don't even have this level of shit. I don't know, like, what do we call it? Like, I don't wanna call it shit, but this is pretty bad. Like, it is now
Well,
in your DNA
I
because your
mean, some of the
culture
words
is
that they were saying that they mentioned was like Australia. You know, they don't say the L. So like, you know, I
right,
mean, I mean, you know, when you're drunk, you don't
right.
pronounce all the syllables and consonants of a word. So, I mean, I could see this as being, you know, why the language changed because, but I don't know if enough drunk people influenced the nation of Australia or continent of Australia to change the language. So,
This is this is the way I see it. Australia was a convict continent. That's where the British sent their convicts. They just
uh-huh.
they just exported them to another fucking like that's like an 8-month long fucking tour on a very dangerous boat. But so these are British convicts, which are probably, these British people are probably not of the highest of intelligence. They're street people. They're like, what is it? They're called cockneys and shit like that. So
Yeah,
they got
yeah,
they're not very intelligent people. They're committing crimes, and the British crown is like, get them the fuck out of here.
yeah,
Get them all the way the fuck out of here down there because the British conquered most of all the known world, and yet the Americans get the shit. But anyway, so they send these people there, and then there's no law, there isn't anything. They just dump them on a continent. So what are you gonna do? We're gonna get fucked up. Like we're gonna figure out a way to just fucking part. Okay, we have freedom, I guess. I mean, so what do? You're gonna create alcohol whenever you're just gonna get fucked up. And then over the many of years of just these people being there, and it's documented that the first police department in Australia was made up of convicts because it was the only people they had. They were like
mm.
they were the most straightest of the convicts, I guess. So they they police
The,
themselves, dude. They police themselves.
the least of the worst.
Yeah, right? So, and good for them. They've done so well with that country, I guess. I mean, they have got a giant continent and okay, babe, I love you. Wife's heading to work. They have a giant continent and they have like two places that are cool to go to. One of them being Sydney and one of them being I don't know where else. Wherever you're not going to get eaten by a shark is a cool place to go. I understand the whole inland spider and snake thing because you're probably not going to come across it, but you get in that fucking water in Australia, you're probably that your chances of dying go way up. So,
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, dude, I just thought that was crazy. I didn't think there was anyone drunker than the Irish, and apparently the Australians are.
Well, I wonder if there was any Irish that were in England when they got deported to Australia.
Oh, you're making my dick hard. Holy shit, that could be.
I mean,
I mean,
again,
the
I
British
don't think
did
it'd be
own
a big
Ireland
population.
at that
What's that?
time. I'm sorry, go
What's
ahead.
that?
The British did own Ireland at that time, right? It was before this. When
Well,
when did I hate my Irish history so much. I just know we hate the Protestants, but I didn't realize. But I mean, yeah, that's true. There could have been Irish crooks that were
right.
convicted by the crown and sent to Australia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that makes sense. The Australian accent.
I think you're right though. I think the change in language in Australia really happened because maybe just like a mix of
Yeah.
people coming in, you know what I mean? And
Plus, there's
causing
the
the
Bush
language to
people,
change.
right?
Was that?
The Bush people, they were already there, right? They were
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I
They
think those
they
are
were like the
the
Africans. They're like
well,
the only people that haven't been enslaved.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't
They're.
mean
I
that
guess
in
they
a
were like.
fucking mean way. I'm just realizing that
Mm.
like it's really like it really not a people. I don't know what the Australian government has done with them. So, but as far as exporting, but yeah, dude, they because maybe it was a mixture of that language. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
interrupting you
I think it was a mixture of all of it. You know, it just kind of changed it because when you have an influx of one group coming into a country or continent, it's going to influence because in order to communicate, you know, you might try to speak like them. You know what I mean? And so, in that way, that's how they started speaking. You know, to relate to the convicts.
Yeah.
So I could see it happening like that. But as far as being drunk, no.
You know, you know what I thought was crazy? Like Italy, like you've been to Europe more than I have, but Italy, the dialects, just north and south,
Uh,
uh, they don't understand each other. It's so bad. Like, I mean, a Yankee, like somebody from Maine can go to Georgia and at least kinda maybe I mean, with the majority of people carry on a conversation. They can order lunch, whatever. But
right.
there are like spots in Europe, especially Italy, I think is probably the more diverse country that I've heard of. Um, like the Southern Italians, compared to the Northern Italians, them speaking the
Yeah,
dialect is so different, like the slang we would call it in America is so different. They don't understand each other. That's
yeah,
crazy to
yeah.
me.
I've heard that too, where the I guess it's that like Naples and stuff like that up north. Their Spanish is a little bit different than like the Southern and Sicilian. You
Yeah.
know, where they I can't even imagine in the same country not being able to communicate with someone else in that country. You know what I mean?
Right? I don't that like I said, that's like somebody going on vacation here in the States and just going to Disney World and having the hardest fucking time because you don't understand the language. Like it
Yeah.
baffles me. You're only hundreds of miles away. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
how is
I
the
mean,
language that diverse? It's
it's not a
segregation
yeah, it's not a huge country either, too. I mean, in comparison to all of Europe, I mean, look at Russia. I mean, I could see somebody on Eastern Russia not being able to speak to someone on Western Russia when it's you know
because it's
thousands of
more
miles away.
Chinese influence. It's more Asian
Right,
influence.
right,
Yeah.
right. But like you said, it's 100 miles away. How can you not be able to communicate?
It's like me going to fucking Charleston and not understand a fucking word anyone's saying. Like, why the fuck would
Can
I?
I get a fucking beer?
Yeah, I want meat and I want alcohol. Fuck. I don't know. I'm a goddamn man, and I want to find a clean place to shit. That's all I want as a man. And I want to fuck something, preferably my wife. It's either that or my hand. It's the only two options.
At least you got options.
Yeah. Do you wanna dive in? You wanna talk, about this relationships or whatever?
The
Or do you
what?
wanna talk about a man who was sentenced to 2 years in jail after being caught cheating at poker? He used infrared contact lenses to see cards pre-marked with invisible ink. Security grew suspicious of his $95,000 winning streak when he folded his hands when he twice folded his hands indicating he knew the dealer's cards. Based off that information, how do you think he did it, and how do you think they caught him?
Well, I read up on it. So I know he had two accomplices. So,
Is this the
um,
scene from Casino? The
and
leg tapping
no,
shit?
no, no.
Okay. Okay,
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm
this
sorry, I
this
didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no, apparently this was in France. So he was.
Oh.
It was an Italian
Oh.
guy. Uh, Viva la France!
Oh, my name is Latrine.
But this guy was an Italian guy at a French casino, and
A wop trying to
but so I
say
mean,
no more.
and it was from what I read, it was like 2013, so it wasn't too long ago. I mean, it was about 10 years ago or so.
Yeah,
But
I was in Afghanistan.
um, so I mean, I honestly don't know how they caught him, and I don't understand why that emphasis was on folding your hands was emphasized in the article, unless maybe I've never worked in a casino, so I don't know the little
Okay,
you know
I
um go ahead.
my mm, the casinos here in Vegas is as far as my knowledge goes, and I've been to Vegas twice, so I pretty much know it. Is that it's not illegal to count cards. It is illegal to mark them. You can't mark them, but so that changes my whole outlook on this. Uh,
Well, the thing is, if he
if
had
you
two accomplices, I'm guessing one was an inside job. So I'm
or
guessing one of the guys marked the cards with,
no,
and then he was able to see it with his infrared contact lens to
this guy.
tell. What's that?
Okay, I'm just coming up with this theory right now. The accomplice is at the table with him. They're playing the long game. Um, and that
That's what she
accomplice,
said.
yeah, the accomplice has something on his finger that
Uh-huh.
is infrared viewable kind of thing through these contact lenses. So he's marking certain cards, like maybe face cards. I like they're going into this like every time I get a jack, I'm gonna tap it with this, so that two hands down the way. Because when you go to a blackjack table, sometimes they play with two decks or three
Yeah.
deck or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's tapping certain cards and marking them with this infrared. So now this dude can see next hand, three hands, four hands down the road,
Mhm.
what's a jack or whatever. And so he
Mhm.
can make certain bets. You can scheme any way you want when you got that, right?
Mhm.
Like you have
Yeah.
you set up like, dude, I'm only gonna tap fucking this card. And so when you see that, what gets me is how did they know the dude's wearing contact lenses? Like this is 2013. It's
Right.
v the contact lenses now are they're very intricate. Unless somebody tells you, you probably won't be able to tell. It's not like,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell if somebody's fucking trans nowadays. You know, we've been able to change the color of our eyes since the '80s. So, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, how do they
Yeah, that's a
bust
good
that?
question.
Like,
I would love to get more deep into that to see what was the actual, how, like you said, how did they know he was looking? I mean, how did they know he had contacts, and how did they know his contacts were infrared, to view the cards?
yeah,
Because there's what from what I read, it just didn't give enough information as far as the details of how they actually got caught. It just said, guy was caught, charged, for cheating on a gambling table. So,
you know what this
but
reminds
yeah,
me of?
huh,
Uh, in the early 2000s, in Major League Baseball, Bosch and Loam came out with a contact lens that helped. They were supposed to do it. They were doing research for colorblind people.
Uh,
Um, but what they developed was during their time, somebody figured out, because they could change the reflective whatever lighting shit, scientist people shit, to make certain colors stand out more.
yeah.
So Bosch and Lomb came out with this contact lens that they had that would, baseball stitching is what color? Red. They had emphasis on the color red. So uh, baseball players during, it was like 1 or 2 years, were using these contact lenses, which were completely legal in Major League Baseball, and
Uh,
turned dudes into all-stars because the how a hitter hits is he looks at one, the release of the ball, the hand of the release, and the way the ball is spinning. Now,
mhm,
if you can see the stitching on the ball, you can see the way the ball is spinning. So you know if it's gonna be a cutter, if it's gonna be a curveball,
mhm.
and then you just gotta judge speed.
Yeah, you know how
Um,
to hit it or
yeah,
not hit.
and my evidence of this is look up Brian Roberts of the Baltimore Orioles. He had 1 season and he actually wore these, contact lenses and made it, to the All-Star game. It's the only season he ever did anything. Um, mid mid 2000s to, like, 2008 to 2010, something like that. Albert Pujols was actively came out and said he would not wear them and did not
Uh,
wear them when he was playing with St. Louis. So I just wanted to put that out. Like that's dude, some fucking crazy ass shit.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
maybe they're using something like that that just
yeah, yeah. I
they
mean,
eventually like banned it in Major League Baseball. And they don't make these contact lenses anymore. But I'm thinking like maybe that guy's wearing something like that, to because that's some sophisticated shit. How do you see that?
well, the one thing too is
How do you get
you
infrared
you you
contact
mentioned
lenses?
he had a partner at the table. So let's assume
Could
that
possibly.
that was the case.
You had to
'Cause
have, because how
most
else are
likely
you marking the
most
cards
likely it would have
unless
been
you're doing
right.
it yourself?
Right. Well, yeah, most likely you would have somebody at the table to help you,
It's
right?
less suspicious.
Yeah. So if he was like if he had like a something on his finger, like a infrared thing, like ink
Ink.
on his finger, he could put his finger on a certain card when he knew what it was. So like top left is ace, middle is a deuce, top right is three.
Now we're getting into it.
So when the cards came back through, like you said, that's when the other player would be able to read them, with these contact lenses once they were dealt. So, I mean
But
yeah, I
this is
think that may have been how it occurred.
I think they're
Um,
slacking. I think they're slacking in France because we figured that out way too fast. And I think Vegas switches decks constantly.
yeah,
Like after a certain amount of plays, I think that the cards go away and they get new cards in,
well, that's
which
because the Rain Man was counting cards with Charlie Babbitt.
yeah, I mean there's 10 left in the box or whatever. Yeah. Wapner, gotta watch
Definitely got to
Wapner.
watch Wapner.
Wapner. Dude,
Fart,
never go
fart.
full retard. Never go full retard. Oh god,
Yeah,
can you fuck But no, I mean, it's 2013, so like how they're way ahead of the marking cards thing, right? I know they are in Vegas. Clearly, they are in Vegas. People mark cards.
yeah.
That's the oldest trick in the books. It used to be like you bend the corner, and that's how you'd mark a card.
That's how
But now
that's how you used to mark the card.
What? Everyone starts out a low hustler. You gotta work your way
Johnny,
up.
did you bid the card again?
Dude, and you only adapt after you get found out and get fucked up. Watch the movie Rounders.
Yeah.
But, oh, fuck, yeah, dude, let's get to our last topic before we get off the rails. Converse, man. Uh, Many Converse sneakers I just spit on myself. Hell yeah, let's fucking rock. Many Converse sneakers have a thin felt layer on their soles, allowing them to be classified as slippers for import purposes. This reduces tar riffs from up to 37.5% for regular sneakers to 3% for slippers, resulting in significant cost savings. I think I brought this subject up because it's very topical right now with the tar riffs. And
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, can you imagine like where are Converse made? I'm assuming they're made in America.
So they used to be made in the US, because Chuck Taylor,
Yeah,
USA guy,
that's a very
but
American
but
name.
they were bought by Nike in like 2001. And then
Damn,
once they
they
were
went
bought
that
by
long?
Nike, well, I think they may have moved companies between, when they first started, like in the 60s or 50s, up until
Yeah,
2001. So I don't know the actual. I just know the most recent transactions, but I know Nike got them in like 2001, but they moved all production of them in 2003 to like China, India, Vietnam, Indonesia,
that's how you make money.
all the countries we love.
That's yeah, because that's how you make money, dude. That's what big business does. And I forget the guy who was in the news recently for saying like, yeah, that's why we're bringing all these Indian guys over here because Americans want too much money to work. So, when it all became our jobs are going overseas, our job buy American. Dude, I've been hearing that
Yeah.
shit since the 80s. So, what you do as a big company is you have the majority of all your shit in those countries, like you said, Vietnam and China and whatever. And then you have like one factory in America, and they're like made in America or some shit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's kind of sad, but I mean I understand it from a business perspective, but still,
yeah,
um, I mean, if you have to pay someone 15 cents an hour compared to $30 an hour, what are you going to do? you
right,
know, I mean it's a
right.
business decision. So,
Yep, America has this.
um,
We are a people of it feels like a people of entitlement. Like even oh god, I don't want to get into this, but like now more than ever, it feels that bad. Like go to a fast food restaurant and see what kind of service you get. It's just kind of shitty. Uh,
well, they for fast food in California, they just raised about a year ago. They raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour.
Gee,
So,
yeah, but how
yeah.
much does it cost to fucking live there, though?
Well, the thing is, if you're a business and you have $30 to pay three employees, $20 for a manager, and two employees for $10 an hour, and then the minimum wage goes up to $20 an hour. What are you going to do? You're going to let one of the other. So basically, you're creating unemployment.
Yeah,
Because not everyone's going to be able to work, and the businesses are not going to cut their bottom line. They're going to say, okay, well, we no longer need you, or they're not going to hire any other people. So
yeah.
it's
Plus, if you can't employ people in your area, that means money in, money out kind of thing. You know, like if there's nobody there to if it's so broke in the area that you're living in because people can't afford to live, they're not going to buy your shit. So now your businesses don't succeed. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
fucked
I
up.
mean,
Oh, shit.
to be honest, I don't. You know, I know you previously mentioned land and stuff like that before, earlier in the cast. Um,
Before the pee break.
yeah, yeah, and um, but it's like, why is the land here more valuable than the land in South Carolina or Oklahoma or wherever?
Because of the
So
weather. Because of the weather.
yeah, well, I
That's
mean,
my first go to because of the weather. Because what is different? What is the biggest difference between all those places? And it's the weather. That's what attracts people to go from one place to another. It's the sights and it's the weather. It's the beautiful sights during, beautiful weather. Nobody wants to go to Colorado during a blizzard, but everybody wants to go to Colorado when there's snow on the mountains.
yeah,
Uh, no, everyone wants to go to the Caribbean when it's beautiful and the waters are calm. Nobody wants to go down there when there's fucking hurricanes.
yeah. I
So
see
that
your
I don't
point.
know.
I
That's
see
my
your
opinion.
point. Yeah.
It's an
I
alcoholic
mean,
thing.
I know I know a lot of people come out here for the weather, but I mean, I don't think they take in
Mostly the
consideration.
homeless.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to be homeless, would you rather be
Community
homeless in
outside,
80-degree weather or in New York when it's
right?
30 below?
Where you're
So,
probably gonna die, like that dude in
yeah,
Scrooged.
yeah.
Right? Like that's why like the homeless and go to warm weather because and we got an issue with them here. And I don't
Well,
know.
I think
They just die in a field, I
every
guess.
state has that issue just because the cost of living has gone up, and
Yeah.
but I mean, that's not the only thing. I think
Well, people have always been the issue. You're never gonna end
that's
homelessness
right.
because
Let, let's
somebody's
get rid
always
of people. Let's get rid of people. We'll have no more issues.
eventually it's gonna happen, KJ. Like when it's eventually like it's just on a long enough timeline, we're gone. All I'm saying is
Yeah. Our
it
time is
happened.
limited.
Yeah, very. We're a blip on the screen if you believe in space. But anyway, back to these tarps. Hey, do you guys get fucking um menthol cigarettes now in California? I thought
No,
because Big T won, you guys get menthol cigarettes. I thought he was getting that back.
no, no.
Get the
I
fuck
think I
out of
told you before, and of course the
Yeah,
laws
you
haven't changed, but
I thought that changed.
they outlawed menthol and um, actually the law, at least locally, was to ban like fruity vapes because they didn't want the kids doing the fruity vapes and getting addicted. But the law encompassed anything flavored. So not only was it the vapes, it was any menthol cigarettes, anything like that. So we haven't had menthols in, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years. So
Did that affect the the African American population of California when that ban went into place?
I well, I can't really speak on
I'm
that
kinda
because,
joking. I'm kinda joking on that. Okay, but I mean, I'm assuming it would because
well,
remember Burks? I mean, we served with Burks, and that motherfucker
yeah.
always had Newports, and he would always bum from you or from whomever, even though he'd have a pack of smokes on him. Sorry, that was a bad joke.
I
Anyway,
think that was kind of innovative, though.
yeah,
I got cigarettes, but I'm going to
yeah,
ask you for one.
yeah. I'm gonna ask you first. And this is when cigarettes were cheap. That motherfucker was way ahead of his game.
Hey, I was in Korea in 1998 to 99, and we had a cigarette machine in our barracks, man, and they were $2.
How
Oh
great did
man,
that feel coming back
it
from the
felt
bar?
well at the time. It probably felt bad because $2 back then was not very much for a
You're hoping you still had
lower enlisted.
$2 coming back from the bar.
But man, I wish I
All
could go
I
back there.
got is fucking
Hey,
wand, dude.
they
Anyone
also
got
had
dollars?
beers.
I only got one.
So they had two machines. They had like a cigarette machine, and then they had a beer machine. So you can get like a Budweiser for $1, and then a pack of cigarettes for $2. So man, when we ran out of beer and we didn't want to go back down range, we
Yeah.
went
Or
down to
you
the.
couldn't because the gates were closed. And did you
Mhm.
guys have at that time? Did you have a curfew? We had a curfew when I
We
was
did
in.
have a curfew. We
Yeah,
did have
we
a
had.
curfew,
Yeah.
and there was
What
times
was
we were running back through the gate, man.
you that curfew
Oh
sprint,
man,
dude? Motherfuckers hauling ass.
my my fastest 2 mile time ever.
Because that was back when you could fucking shame people and sergeant majors would shame motherfuckers that got busted coming or being caught out
Well, they
after
they
curfew.
put them in front of the formation.
Dude,
Mondays.
our guys that got busted. I was at Camp Humphreys. They
Yeah,
would make them stand out there all weekend long after hours in their dress uniform. So it was greens then, and holding a sign saying ask me what time curfew is and have to sit there. And so we
uh,
we would take the bus up and they'd be standing at the fucking gate knowing that guy got busted. It'd be a PFC with like fucking 3 ribbons, because this was
like
back when you
I knew
didn't
he
get.
wasn't going to
Yeah,
make it.
yeah.
I knew he wasn't.
And so we would fuck with them back. We'd be standing in line at the ATM. Like the ATM to get was right by the gate, it was right across the street, right? So this guy's holding his fucking sign out there in his dress uniform. There's a light on him. This looks like a Scorsese movie. And we're standing in line for the ATM to get won because it was cheaper to get won and then buy drinks off base in Korea.
Yeah.
So the whole time we're standing in line, we're looking over our shoulder like, hey, that's curfew, man. And he doesn't know what rank you are, so he can't be a dick. And he has to
Right, right.
fucking yell it out. Sign says 01. And then, like, my buddy Russ behind me, like
Yeah.
30 seconds later or whatever. Hey, that's curfew, man. Motherfucker.
Oh
And then there's
man.
dude, and then people going, and he's standing right next to the gate. So this is in between dudes just walking past him, just getting shamed. They God, they need to bring that back. The army needs
Yeah.
to go back to just fucking doing people dirty for the stupidest shit.
I agree, man. I
They
mean,
gave
I'm
us
not saying
every
I'm.
opportunity to get fucked up and plenty of time to do it. They just wanted you back in time. It was like a parent, like,
Yeah,
just get back here this time.
yeah.
And we would fuck it up. So back to
We
these
was we was
tariffs with
still fucking up.
we started about Converse and now we're in Korea at the gate. Um, the tariffs, dude. We got tariffs now with fucking Canada and Mexico because Big T gonna flex his soft fucking dick. I guess I don't know what the fuck is
Taurus?
going on.
Did you say?
Yeah, eggs are
Are you trying to
expensive.
get like Tar Heels?
Oh,
Oh, you mean
oh,
tariffs? Tariffs.
tariffs. Tariff. I call
Oh,
them
okay.
tariffs. Are they what you call them tariffs? It's not TEAR.
This
It's
must be that
T.
Italian thing. I must be from North Italian.
It's TARIFFS, right?
Hey,
Tariffs.
I didn't
Tariff.
invent the spelling of it. I'm just saying.
Have I
But
been saying it long my entire wrong? I
I know
said
what you're
long.
talking about.
Yeah.
So the thing about the tariffs is, I mean, I know I
Dude,
understand what he's trying to do, and but
to
you know, it's I think that countries can go other ways. They can go somewhere else and get the same stuff without having tariffs. And when I don't know if most people know about tariffs. I'm not an expert of economy or
It's
trade or anything
sanctions.
like that.
Just look up Dave Chappelle sanctions. That's all it is. It's like reverse
Rick
sanctions.
James, bitch.
Yeah, it's reverse. You're sanctioning yourself is pretty much what a tariff is. Like we ain't buying your shit
Well,
no more.
the
That's
thing
the way I
is,
see it.
the
Is it
tariffs.
not?
So you got the cost of goods, and then you get the tariffs on top of that. But the tariffs go to the government,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the company that's getting the goods have to pay the goods, at least from my understanding, is they have to pay the goods and the tariffs. So I'm trying to figure out how that works, but
If
I could be
they make it,
wrong.
they make it confusing so you can't figure it out, so they can get their fucking money. But can you imagine if uh they were tariff like if tobacco, if we got our cigarettes, if Americans got their cigarettes from Mexico or Canada, can you imagine the wars that would be happening right now? Like, I mean, cigarettes are already expensive enough. You
Yeah.
put tariffs, is that what they're called? Tariffs on them? They're gonna go up like Australian numbers and be like $40 a fucking pack. And
Yeah,
that
but
would
that's not a product we would need to put tariffs on because we have tobacco farms.
right?
It,
That's what I'm saying.
it,
Like in a world like whatever, can you
most
imagine
most
if
of the
we
stuff we're getting from China is like, at least again, it's my understanding. I could be wrong.
computer shit?
Um, is like computer parts, chips and stuff like that. So that's what they're
Stuff
taxing.
stuff they can monitor us on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm not sure if you heard in the news, but they've been trying to build a lot of chip um, plants in the U.S. They just built one. They built one, or they're going to build one in Ohio, and then I think one is going to be in North Carolina, right around
Dude,
like
right
Raleigh.
around where that hurricane hit. they're, they're they're trying to make it, so it's cheaper to buy it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
It's
like
gonna.
you've traveled the United States. We have plenty of room to do a lot of shit.
Mhm.
And I don't know, somebody's stopping it from happening. Like I love beautiful areas in Colorado and Wyoming and Montana, what state and I've never been to, but I've seen movies. But like that's a lot of space. That's a lot of space that isn't being used. And the only other country that I think that I mean Russia. Russia's got so much space to do some shit. It's so bad of an area. They just
Yeah,
nuke it. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like America, it could be just get rid of the state
I,
parks.
I,
Let's
I
just get
think
rid
I
of
think
some
it's
shit.
tariffs. Well,
Fuck it,
I think
man.
it's
Turn into a sci-fi movie. Let's I don't care
well,
any
I think it's tariffs. Trump's tariffs plan is not really to be enforced. I think it's just
a
more or
threat.
less a threat. So just,
Ugh.
hey,
That's what
this
he
is
always
what
does.
yeah, what
He's
we can
always
do.
that. Like,
So, um, I
ugh.
don't know. The one thing that really is going to impact me though is that Department of Education. So if that goes away, which looks like it's kind of headed in that direction, that's going to impact a lot of students, a lot of potential students, but it's also going to impact every state university in the United States.
Yeah.
So, because the Department of Education is where they do their financial aid forms, it goes through them. Um, so that's kind of scary for us. I
Yeah.
know personally, our president said we had a a freeze on jobs. So like I can't even move up. So so even though I'm able to, based on my credentials and stuff like that, I can move up, but they're not hiring anybody upwards. So we just kind of
So
have to wait it out. So it's
so
it's going to be
you're stuck in a position in and this is how I'm reading it. You're stuck in a position where you can't move up, so you can't get paid more, but everything around you is ending up costing more.
yeah, yeah,
Damn,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Could that be what we were talking about earlier? A way to force people out? Like, I can't afford to fucking live here anymore. I have to fucking move.
Exactly what it is. So,
It could be.
but we'll see.
Ah! I
And I'll
didn't
let you
expect it
know.
to
I'll
turn
let you
into
know
it.
to keep
Yeah.
a if you need to keep a room open for me.
Bro, you have an open invite to this house anytime you want. You just have to be able to deal with all my dogs. I've got 4 of them, and I've got 3 cats. They all kick ass. But yeah, dude, you and everyone in your family is welcome here at any fucking time. You know that.
Well, I appreciate that, man. We plan on coming out there sometime. I know I've tried to
Dude,
come out there before, but
we wanna
definitely want
come
to come out
visit
there.
we wanna come visit you. Like, you wanna come out here, we wanna come out there because, Stacy loves fucking California. And there's you and, like, one other person and, like, maybe another person that I'm not forgetting, I'm just throwing that out there in case I get upset, that I like in California.
Mhm.
I've been there before, and it's the people are fucking weird, man, and that was just the airport. That was just the airport.
It was a total culture shock coming from Virginia. I mean, coming from the Midwest, growing up in the Midwest like you and
And
I
then
did, and then being in Virginia in the South for a while, coming out here. Oh man, totally different. Totally different.
you're like, "Oh, can't even get a fucking cheap burger, can you?"
Well, I mean, it's not even. I mean, the people are different. It's like they're just
It's
rude. You know, not
it's
respectful. So I'm not all of them, of course,
no,
but it's definitely different from when we were in Virginia and stuff like that. And the Southern hospitality kind of plays a part in that. So I don't know.
yeah. Well, brother, I wish you the best, man, and thank you so much for doing this again. I love talking with you tonight. And hey, be careful of those mudslides. You know they're coming next. The rain, the mudslides. It's like what LA has fucking 5 seasons, that kind of thing. Yeah. There's fire season, and mudslide season. So again, love you, man. Thank you so much for doing this again. And get a fucking haircut.
Yeah. Yeah, I love you too, bro. And I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop.